Want to add upgrades to your precons but don't have a ton of money to do so? Well, boy howdy do I have the video for you. Today we are going to be showing you 5 budget upgrades for the new green and white Wilds of Eldraine precon commander deck. Every card in this list is under $1, so hopefully you won't be spending more than that to spice up your fresh new precon. As per usual, this video is brought to you by the EDH Jank Center, your source for everything commander and everything jank, and I am your host Jordan, so let's get right into it. We actually can't talk about upgrades though without talking about what it is that we are upgrading, so let's take a look at the commander for this deck, Ellivere of the Wild Court. And Ellivere reads as follows. Ellivere of the Wild Court, 2 green-white legendary creature human knight from the Wilds of Eldraine precons. Whenever Ellivere of the Wild Court enters the battlefield or attacks, create a virtuous roll token attached to another target creature you control. If you control another roll on it, put that one into the graveyard. Enchanted creature gets +1/+1 for each enchantment you control. Whenever an enchanted creature you control deals combat damage to a player, draw a card, and it's a 4/4. Folks, we are making a ton of enchantments in this deck, which I absolutely vibe with. Wilds of Eldraine has introduced a new game mechanism in the form of roll tokens. These are token auras that you can attach to creatures. They all have different abilities, but Ellivere gives us virtuous roll tokens. These buff up whatever creature they're attached to based on the number of enchantments we control. Important to note as well that we can only have 1 roll token per creature. Once we try to attach another roll token that we control to a creature that already has one, the original one gets put into the graveyard. Oh, and we get to draw cards too, which is like, you know, classic Enchantress stuff. Anyways, with that out of the way, let's take a look at our budget selections. Our first card up today is Celestial Ancient, 3 white creature elemental from Planechase Anthology. It has flying. Whenever you cast an enchantment spell, put a +1/+1 counter on each creature you control, and it's a 3/3. I mean, yeah, right? Like, this card is amazing in here. First of all, we can attach one of Ellivere's virtuous roll tokens to this thing and immediately have like a dope flying chonky boy. But we also will just be buffing our entire board consistently as we churn out and cast more and more enchantment spells. Either way, I think this is an awesome include in any enchantment based build, and it's very Selesnya coded to make tokens and then buff up the entire board and swing for the win. Also random, but I also feel like Selesnya is the most Eldraine coded Ravnica guild. That might be the most niche thing I've said on this channel, but I'm sure one of you out there will vibe with it. And I know this is not a go wide deck necessarily, but I think this still has a lot of applications for buffing up our attackers and for being a very vicious attacker itself. And a nice flying attacker means we'll have an easier time getting in for damage and getting that sweet card draw off of our commander. All right, next up we got a classic from the old Throne of Eldraine set, except this copy's from Commander Masters, but it doesn't matter. Next up is All That Glitters, which is 1 and a white enchantment aura, enchant creature. Enchanted creature gets +1/+1 for each artifact and or enchantment you control. Honestly, I'm surprised that this isn't in the precon deck list at all. I suppose it might be redundant because virtuous roll tokens are mini versions of this card, but hey, I think decks need to run redundancy in case the main strat gets turned off. And also, for 2 mana, a build centered around auras and enchantments, this will be netting us a ton of value for its cost. I'm picturing a beefy creature with a virtuous roll token attached to it, then enchanting it with this and essentially doubling its power. Pretty freaking sick, dude, and the newest reprint in Commander Masters puts it at under 30 cents, which makes it a must include in my opinion. All right, now let's move on to our next card of the day, which is Harnessed Snubhorn, 3 and a white creature dinosaur from March of the Machine Aftermath. It has vigilance, and whenever it deals combat damage to a player, return target artifact or enchantment card from your graveyard to the battlefield, and it's a 2/5. Now, before people go flaming me in the comments for this being overcosted, I would encourage you to look at the channel name and remember that this channel appreciates and highlights janky, budget, and underutilized cards. In this house, we believe every card deserves a loving home, and that's final. Now go to your room. Alright, anyways, enough of me acting like your dad. This dino from Mom Aftermath is literally 3 cents and can get back from the yard basically any problem enchantment or artifact our opponents deem worthy of their removal. I think this card is innocuous enough to skirt by undetected, so this should be able to do some lovely recursion work for us on a budget. Oh, and as always, you can turn this already chonky guy into an even chonkier guy with Ellivere's roll tokens. And a 2/5 with vigilance is nothing to laugh at, folks. Speaking of laughs, let's have our way over to the next card, that was rough, which is Rogue's Passage, which is a land. This one's from Commander Masters. It can tap for a colorless, or you can pay 4 and tap it. Target creature can't be blocked this turn. Like I said earlier, this is not a Selesnya go wide strategy. This is a Selesnya go tall strategy. We are going to be taking a choice few creatures and turning them into gigantic attackers. We are going to need ways to give them unblockable because a lot of the creatures in in this list don't have evasion already stapled on. So in comes this sneaky little passageway wherein we can send an attacker unblocked at our opponent's life total and hopefully close out games. You know what else is a sneaky little passageway? It's the link to the EDH Jank Center Discord, which is a public Discord of a bunch of people that love budget, janky, and underutilized cards. We talk about sets, spoilers, cards, budget brews, and anything and everything under the MTG sun. We also host really awesome monthly giveaways of fun MTG product every single month. Patrons of the channel get an additional entry in giveaways, but you do not need to be a patron to get in on the action. Last month, we gave away 2 amazing custom altered cards and a bunch of packs and dice. The month before that, we gave away a whole entire commander deck. I mean, it's super sweet, so much fun. And if you're looking for new friends and a place to talk about your favorite cards, the link is in the description and I'll see you in there. All right, our last card of the day is also our most expensive card of the day. It's Rite of Harmony, green and white instant from Innistrad Midnight Hunt. It says whenever a creature or enchantment enters the battlefield under your control this turn, draw a card. And it has flashback, 2 green white. You may cast this card from your graveyard for its flashback cost, then exile it. Now, at the time of making this video, this card is under $1, but honestly, with how good it is, I wouldn't be surprised to find out that it's crossed that threshold by the time this video comes out. I mean, the tech is pretty simple here. In this build, we can almost certainly be casting multiple enchantments per turn and or creating at least one with Ellivere. And Enchantress decks already love to draw cards, so why not draw more? Oh, and if you want to do it again, you can just cast it for its flashback cost. God, I love flashback. Anyways, that's the end of the video, guys. And if you dug this video or found it helpful, make sure you give it a like, subscribe to the channel, and comment down below what cards you would put in an Ellivere build. Did I miss anything? I'm always down there in the comments interacting with you guys, so come on down and have a chat with me. Oh, and join the EDH Jank Center Discord if you want to have like 10,000 more friends. Okay, bye!